This is a video lesson for income elasticity of demand. So the objectives of this lesson are that we are able to explain what is meant by income elasticity of demand, or YED. We should be able to calculate YED, and we'll be able to explain the difference in YED of inferior, normal, and superior goods. So first of all, let's get the definitions right. Income elasticity of demand, or YED, is the responsiveness of quantity demanded to a change in income. And income is usually represented by Y, which is why we call it YED. So YED is a percentage change in quantity demanded over the percentage change in income. We can put this in as shorthand by saying YED equals percentage delta QD over percentage delta Y, where Y equals income. Now we've seen these types of products before, normal goods and inferior goods. Normal goods, as a review, are those goods for which an increase in income leads to an increase in demand. And inferior goods are those goods for which an increase in income leads to a decrease in demand. So for normal goods, if we're trying to interpret the YED, as we know this is the formula, and so we think to ourselves, well, if our income goes up, then we would expect our quantity demanded goes up. This is a positive relationship, and a positive divided by a positive means that the YED for normal goods will always be a positive figure. So in summary, normal goods have a positive YED. For inferior goods, we would expect that if our incomes went up, we would substitute other normal goods, and would stop buying the inferior goods, so the quantity demanded for these goods would go down. This is a negative relationship, which means that we would expect that if we have a negative divided by a positive, it would be a negative figure. So in summary, inferior goods have negative YED. So to put this on a number line and summarize, normal goods are between 0 and infinity, and inferior goods are between negative infinity and 0, which is to say that normal goods are positive, inferior goods are negative. Now we also want to be able to describe YED in terms of its responsiveness, or elasticity. And we've said before that elasticity refers to the responsiveness of one variable with regards to another. A good is said to be income inelastic if a change in income leads to a less than proportionate change in quantity demanded. So what does this mean? Well, if we put our formula in here like this, and we have a big increase in income, and we only have a small increase in quantity demanded, then we would say that this is not a very responsive relationship. We'd have a bottom-heavy fraction, which is less than 1, which is to say that this is an inelastic product in terms of income. So, in summary, income inelastic goods have YED values somewhere between -1 and 1, because they're always going to be bottom-heavy fractions. Whereas a good that is said to be income elastic if a change in income leads to a more than proportionate change in quantity demanded. Again, if we put this into our formula, we could see that even a small change in income might mean that we have quite a large change in quantity demanded. And so this means that it's a top-heavy fraction, therefore it's more than 1. And so in summary, we would say that income elastic goods have YED values which are below -1 or above 1. Because remember, elasticity has nothing to do with inferior normalness, so it can be either a minus number or a positive number. So to put this onto the number line, we would say that income inelastic goods are somewhere between -1 and 1, those bottom-heavy fractions, whereas income elastic goods are going to be either between negative infinity and -1 if they're inferior goods, or between 1 and infinity if they're normal goods, and both of those are income inelastic goods, those top-heavy fractions. Now there's a special type of normal good which is called the superior or luxury goods, and those goods which they show rises in demand that are greater in proportion to a rise in income. So when incomes rise, quantity demanded for these goods rise even more. These are those things that we would associate as luxuries, for example, Gucci products. So in this case, we would see our YED formula: a small change in a small change in income leads to a more than proportionate change in quantity demanded. And so, in other words, we could say that luxury goods are normal goods, which are also elastic, which means that in summary, superior goods or luxury goods are these ones here, which are between 1 and infinity. They're normal income elastic goods, which are superior goods. Now, one of the other things you have to do is be able to calculate income elasticity of demand. And this is an example table that would show the sales of foreign holidays and UK domestic holidays taken by British people, and with an index of earnings. And an index number just means that we set whatever your earnings are at in a certain year, in this case 2008, we set that to equal 100, and then we compare whatever the earnings go up or down by in proportion to 100, which was our base year. So in this case, we'd simply use the formula, percentage delta QD over percentage delta Y, and we'd say that the change in income is the new income minus the original income divided by the original income. In this case, our income was 90 minus the original, which was 100, divided by the original. So we'd see that there was a 10% fall in income. So our percentage change in income is minus 10%. We then have to calculate the percentage change in quantity demanded for foreign holidays if we were doing the YED for foreign holidays, which is to say that we'd say the new quantity demanded for foreign holidays minus the original quantity demanded for foreign holidays divided by the original quantity demanded for foreign holidays. And this is just an expenditure in terms of millions of pounds, we're saying. So we would say that this was 2 million pounds minus 2.5 million pounds, which was the original, divided by the original, which is 2.5 million, which means that we've had a 20% decrease in expenditure on foreign holidays. So to figure out the formula and to figure out the YED figure, we simply, after we've done those two calculations, we just plug them in to say that, well, the percentage change in income was minus 10%, the percentage change in quantity demanded was minus 20%. Plug those figures in, and we don't have to worry about the percentage symbol in them because it's one percentage divided by another. And then minus 20 divided by minus 10 is 2. And using our number line analysis, we should be able to tell that this is a luxury good, it's a normal good, and an income elastic good. Any one of those things is appropriate to describe the income elasticity of that good. And as practice, I would suggest that you try calculating the income elasticity of demand for UK domestic holidays as well. So, you need to check, can you explain the following things? Can you explain what is meant by income elasticity of demand, or YED? Can you calculate YED? And can you explain the difference in YED of inferior, normal, and superior goods?